Stop putting off that uncomfortable conversation. Just face the thing right away. Whether it's your parents, whether it's your girlfriend, whether it's your friend. There's this uncomfortable conversation that you're avoiding. And you need to stop putting it off, man. The more and more you avoid telling them how you really feel about something, the bigger the problem becomes. And also the harder it gets to just communicate with this person. It's actually just not beneficial for you, for that person, for the relationship, for nothing. Literally nothing. And this doesn't mean it has to be some crazy thing. Like, it doesn't have to be some crazy conversation either, or some crazy conflict. It could be something pretty simple. It could be something as minute as, like, I don't know, like maybe you have a friend and he does something you really don't like something small, but it just bothers you and you feel disrespected. But instead of telling him, you're just like, whatever, I'm just gonna deal with this. Whatever. Like, what if he thinks I'm weird for telling him? What if he thinks I'm soft? I mean, that's one example, right? But my whole life, I feel like naturally I'm kind of confrontational. Like, naturally I'm quite, like, attacking when it comes to these situations. Because there's two kinds of people, all right? I'm going to tell you guys. There's two kinds of people. There are the avoidance, and there are the anxious people. And then there's everything in between, right? When it comes to conflict and when it comes to conversation like this, let me describe to you. So I was an anxious person. In fact, I still kind of am. Like, honestly, if I'm leaning on one end, I'm definitely the anxious and I'm not the avoidant. The anxious person, they don't like to fight, but when there's conflict, when there's a problem, they have a tendency to just attack it and go straight to the thing. They don't run away from it, right? Like, I don't run away from shit, dude. At least not. It's interesting. It's like, yeah, there's been times I've done avoidant tendencies, and same with avoidance. There have been times they can be anxious. But generally speaking, that's how it works, right? And then avoidance, they run away from things. So if you're watching this video, if you're watching this video, you're probably an avoidant, or at least you are being avoidant about something. And if anyone's curious, that's what I'm talking about is attachment theory, which is like a relationship thing, and it's super interesting concepts about your childhood and traumas and all this stuff. Which, by the way, if you're hearing the word trauma and childhood and all this shit, and you're thinking, oh my god, this guy is, I don't even know, this guy's fucking a therapist. I don't know. It's like, bro, you gotta face it. We do have traumas. It doesn't mean you're broken, okay? It doesn't mean something's necessarily wrong with that or you. It just means you gotta understand, like, your childhood does shape a lot of your subconscious and of who you are. You just gotta accept that. It's a fucking reality. So, and there's just so much data to back this. So if you knew that, then why wouldn't you want to know more about it? Why wouldn't you want to know more about your childhood and how it shaped you and the traumas? Because no one's childhood was perfect, right? So whenever there was something negative that happened, that stuff gets like implanted in you. Like it gets like there's like a print left in you. And in the future, like right now, when something reminds you of that, it might trigger something in you. That's kind of how a trauma works. So let's say when you're young, well, actually, let me tell you about me. So let's say, for example, my father, my parents would fight a lot. All right. And by the way, I'm going to tie this stuff back into the main point of the video, which is like to stop avoiding the conversation. It's all going to tie back. Just wait. My parents, they would fight a lot. Okay. They would, like, honestly, as I'm saying this out loud, I wouldn't say they fought a lot, but they did. And there was times, it's like, I actually don't even remember this too well, but my mom would tell me where my dad would get home, like, really drunk. And, like, every so often they would have, like a verbal altercation, right? In fact, this is something I would really remember later in my childhood, like, maybe when I was, like, I don't know, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Like, I would remember that. I actually do remember that, like, pretty well. I remember my parents just always arguing. Like, it was like a thing they did. And I remember me thinking, like, this made me think that was normal. Like, that's how relationships are. And if you fast forward to the first relationship I had, the first serious one, we honestly had a lot of argumenting, like a lot of fighting, bro. And once again, I thought this was normal. I thought it was like, oh, this must be how relationships are. Because like, I don't know, I just feel that way. And the reason I felt that way is because of my childhood. But back then, I had no idea. Back then, it wasn't like, I wasn't aware of these concepts. So anyways, I mean, long story short, you can consider that a trauma, right? The fact that I would just see my parents verbally fight at each other a lot. And it made me, it kind of left a print on me, making me think that that's normal, right? So then the rest of my life, I've been told by people, like, I can be argumentative. I can be very critical of people. I can be very snappy. I've actually heard that word before. I can be snappy. And it's interesting, like, when I get triggered, when I do get pissed off at someone, when I do get not even pissed off at someone, when I just get emotional in a conversation, like the one you might be avoiding, for example, like this might happen to you. You might get emotional, right? When I do get emotional, I have a tendency to like snap back at the person, to try to like one up them, right? I'm quite offensive in this way. So if the person says something about how they feel, it's like, I'm just gonna be like, yeah, I know you feel that way, but what about this thing and this thing and blah 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 blah, or yeah, well, that makes sense, but like this, like, I would just, like, damn, I don't let that other person fucking breathe, honestly. And then when that happens, I'm like, oh, I'm being triggered, let me fucking calm the fuck down. I have this fucking tendency to want to just beat the other person in this game. I'm very competitive in that way. Like, it's almost like I can't be fucking wrong. I'm actually I'm a master debater. That sounds funny. I'm a master debater. I'm not a masturbator. Why do I feel like that's like a line in a rap song? I'm a master debater, not a masturbator. I feel like I've heard that before. But anyways, that's what I am, okay? And yeah, I'm really good at it, honestly. But it's almost too much. It's like, okay, it's like, let me calm the fuck down. As a kid, people tell me to be a lawyer, because I was always good at this shit. And in certain settings, it's fine, it's good. But when you're having that conversation with the person that you guys are thinking of, do not try to just beat them. That's not what it's about, man. It's not what it's about, guys. And this is a really important point. Whatever conversation you're avoiding, the goal shouldn't be to beat them, to fucking prove they're wrong, to show how cool you are, to exercise your dominance. to fucking stroke your ego. It's not about that, bro. You know what it's about? It's about coming to a connection. Establishing a good line of communication. Making it so me and the person, both win. That's a good negotiation in general, by the way. It's like we both win. Right? They get value, I get value, we're connected, we're both happy. And some people might view this as like compromise, but that's not exactly what I'm saying. And I think that term it implies like, okay, well, all right, you know what, I'm gonna do this thing because you like it. It implies like you don't want to do it almost. But that's not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about there's a way, at least I think you could find one, where you guys can come to like some kind of unity where you guys are both feeling great about it. It's not that you guys are compromising. And you as the person who watched this video, and especially if you're the man, right? It's on you to do this, to find this, to establish this line of connection. And now that you know the goal, which is to basically do that, understand what you want to avoid is one of two things, okay? Step one is you just want to avoiding, right? You want to avoiding the conversation. That's probably the main thing. That's the main title of this video, is avoiding the fucking conversation. Like, face that fucking thing, okay? That's step one. Step two, when you do face it, don't be like how I used to be in the past. And I can still kind of be sometimes, right? I'm not fucking perfect. Don't be like me or don't be like how I used to be where you just fight, and you're trying to win. You're trying to fucking be the one-up. You're trying to one-up that person. Let them fucking speak. Don't interrupt them. Don't be so fucking fierce, you know? That's step two. And then step three, realize the goal is like we're a fucking team. Let's both win. Let's both come out of this understanding each other, feeling heard, understanding what's the next steps, and that's it. We're a fucking team. We're a fucking team. And obviously, I guess the final point to make here, bro, is like, maybe you guys don't become a team. Maybe there's just something you guys cannot get by, which is fine too. But why would you avoid the conversation? Because that's an inevitable thing you have to do, right? So whether it's your girlfriend, parents, friends, whatever, your boss, if there's something on your chest, go and get it out. It feels good. Just understand these concepts in mind. Try to keep yourself calm. And you got this. Have a great day. Peace.